Want to know where just my biggest flaws? I think I'm a pretty good Lucio, but like I'm losing a lot. So I don't
All right, fair
know.
enough. Yeah, we can definitely go over that. One thing I guess I was curious about. So you safely 4 or 5 hours. Across those three different roles, with DPS, tank, and support, do you play like an even split across all three, or do
uh,
you like how would you say the
his,
split is?
Historically, yeah. Right now, no, because fuck tank right now. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, historically, yeah, I split it all three ways. It's you know, I get that's not the best way to do it. But it's just I don't also play solo. I didn't used to play solo much. I played like with friends, like gold plat
Mm-hmm.
friends. So I assumed like that was my rank because of that reason. Like, I'm just playing with them, it's whatever. But like
Mm-hmm.
now I'm solo queuing a lot this past 2 weeks, and I'm not climbing still. So I'm like, okay, I picked up
Mm.
bad habits, maybe, like
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Definitely can. It's pretty easy to pick up bad habits.
Hmm.
All right, so let's talk about that really quickly. I mean, like you said, I think you already have the general concept already. In that, just do be warned that if you do spread yourself too thin across a bunch of different roles or a bunch of different characters, that it will just lead to slower improvement.
Hmm.
Because if, like, just for example, let's say you have, you know let's say you have 6 characters you play and in 600 hours. If you split that time up equally, you have 100 hours per character. Let's say you now cut that in half and you do 3 characters, so now you've just gone to 200 hours per character. You cut that in half and you cut that down again to 2 characters. Now you have 300 hours per person, so you've effectively doubled or tripled the amount of time you have to learn abilities and ultimates and their play styles and their positioning and things like that, all the things that are different from character to character, and even
Right.
role to role is even more drastically different than character to
Hmm.
character. So that just might be a recommendation if you're trying to improve and get better
Yeah, do one at a time.
um, is maybe more heavily focusing in, but that's really up to you and like what your goals are and how you have fun playing the game, because flexing around, it's definitely you're able to do that for sure, especially if you have fun
Hmm.
doing it. It's
Yeah, I
just
probably enjoy fighting more, probably,
yeah,
but
which is fair enough. All right. Let's hop into it. I'll just be a minute or
mhm.
so. I'm looking for something to talk about.
Dope, dope. Yeah, first round was probably my worst one. I fed a couple times, I think.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay. So Diva gets on the McCree. This could be an easy opportunity to go and like, oh, I don't know how I ended up over there. Could be an easy opportunity to go and like boop off McCree since he's just
Hmm.
like right over by the edge. But we see the Kiriko trying to duel her. We do an amp heal slash speed when we're not really low
Hmm.
HP there, so
Yeah.
that one maybe wasted amp. Uh
Yes.
oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. First feed. Let's get
Hmm.
it.
Right. So here, main thing is that he's just not close enough yet. Right. He's still pretty far
Hmm.
back. He's not all like you probably want him more like halfway or 3/4 over this bridge than engaging like right here, because then he's able to just kind of get away from you.
Yeah, and that's also a little bit of bad habits of like playing against some gold hit cams, and getting away
Yeah.
with that.
Yep.
Yeah. There's low confidence right there. I always go for that. I make that jump every time, but I'm like, I just fed. Let me.
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Okay, so us and our teammates got off points, so that's unfortunate. Just gotta watch that so we can stay contesting it. Nice. Nice.
hey. Noticing how often I switch, it's so subconscious. Like I don't think about it. I'm just like, yeah, I want to go faster. I don't know. It's fine, right?
Nice boop.
Yeah, but he made it back.
Dang, that's a good job on him.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, once again noting the amp heals when we don't see
Yeah.
anybody to heal. So we're just gonna keep an eye on stuff like that because now that's like the second time. So you see you can look at your health bar as well as your teammates' health bars in the top
I
right
don't know what I
corner.
saw.
There's
Oh,
Genji, but
oh,
Genji's
yeah.
like a mile away from you, so no one else is near you. No one
All
else
right.
needs
Okay.
it. You have a tree up, in fact. So amp heal ends up just getting wasted here because nobody needs it, right? So remember, amp heal comes when you need extra healing, right? It's that simple. So
Yeah.
if you or your teammates are like critical and or you need a bunch of group healing, go for it. In amp speed comes when you need extra speed. So if you or your teammates need to get in extra fast, then you go for that one. But you also don't want to use it when neither are needed because then it just wastes the ability.
Yeah, yeah. I have no idea why I even use it there. Might have been
Hmm.
even a misclick. I don't know. It's weird. Nothing was happening.
Uh-oh. So firstly, let's take stock of where the fight's at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So as of the time of your ulting, which do we have the percent? Okay, so we do have the tick percentage. So maybe we're just trying to stall it out longer to give time for our teams to come back. So that's not too bad of an idea because we do have point control here. So if we can just stall it out longer, that can be good. Maybe bait out some more ultimates, things like that. So I think that's probably a fine decision. But the big problem is the fact that we're doing it from
Mid area.
yeah from the air here, which gives them so much time to melt you as you're coming down. So we're doing it firstly when you are like half HP and when you see like four people looking at you, right? So you have like four people staring at you, you're less than half HP, and we're doing it from all the way up in the air.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I knew it was bad as soon as I did it. It sucks, but like it's better if I knew that a second earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So just being aware of your surroundings and paying attention to health, paying attention to the enemy. Very nice. Okay. Little delayed in going for that. So like you could see like
Yeah.
all the way back here, and I can see that you're eyeing it, eyeballing those two, right? And you're thinking, oh, maybe I can get like the boop on the Moira, right? But then we kind of like hang out for like a second, and I think that just gives them, and we also don't amp speed until like too late, and then we just give Moira time to get away.
She just disappears.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think we're just like slow in going for it because we're kind of just like sitting here, and then we're just I think we're just like a bit slow to get to it.
Missing everything.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
So here, just kind of diving in, noting that it's kind of like it's, into the middle of three people. You don't really have teammates diving in with you. You don't have an
Yeah.
opportunity that you're diving in on. So, typically Lucio is a bit more of an opportunistic character because you do have such high speed and consistent damage. You can think of yourself kind of a bit more akin to like how like a tracer would play, right? Where you don't in and of I mean like this is a little bit different now that with busted tracer,
Oh yeah,
but you don't but tracer like historically like isn't a character that can just like one shot everything, right? She's not a character that has like insane bursts. She's not going to walk up to a tank and then just be like, tank, you don't exist, right?
yeah.
So in and of herself, tracer's very mobile and she's very consistent, easy to land damage, which makes it so that same as Lucio, they're opportunistic characters. So you're not going to just hop into the middle of their team. Instead, you're going to poke and you're going to poke and you're going to wander around and you're going to kind of do your thing, but you're going to be paying attention and watching for opportunities. So maybe somebody's like off on their own, right? You see like the Kiriko's like over in the corner. Like right here, this would be an opportunity. Kiriko's off by herself. Or you see that somebody's low HP because you can swoop in, go tap tap tap, boop, and then like speed out, right? You can just kind of swoop in and clean up a kill. Or maybe you got beat, or maybe like your teammates are all engaging, you can swoop in with them, but you probably don't want to just be like diving in all like on your own, right? All
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense.
I was kind of hoping they were just be with me, but I didn't check, and
Yep.
I should see that number. It was just 0 or 1.
Mm-hmm. So far, I've noticed pretty decent crossfade usage, right? Like you seem to be doing a good job of like when do you speed, when do you heal. Here, good amp heals because you saw the critical Sombra, so that was a good amp heals. Okay. Okay, so things got a little bit crazy. Probably want to be careful. I think here, maybe like we seem to be continuously falling into the temptation or mindset that like just being on the top of point is going to make you impossible to kill.
Yeah.
Which
Well, oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead. What were you saying?
Wait, was that their ball that ulted, right?
That was that was their ball, and
Yeah,
the
mine.
Moira's
Yeah.
ulting you too.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, pretty much just like being careful and like not instead of just like wall riding in a circle. Like I see that you drop here, but we're already like less than half HP by this point.
Right.
When if we are just maybe playing for a bit better position, like we have a like over here, right? Like we have our team, we have a life weaver ult, we're not surrounded by mines. So like just like look at how you're positioning yourself where you're away from your whole team, not really a ton of cover to work with. You're not going to be able to get healed from over here. So it kind of you're isolating yourself, and you end up getting ulted kind of as a result. Which, oh my goodness, what is that range
Oh
on
yeah.
that?
Oh my. Oh, and then I play a lot of Fallout too, and then trust me, even the vertical range is ridiculous.
I guess he just like gave you a little tiny tap with it. Yeah, so kind of just like putting yourself off by yourself there.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Hopefully this is my worst round. Hopefully I'll be fine about that. I don't know.
Mhm.
A lot of the time I'm just like trying to stall on point.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
like.
So that one's just on.
Mhm.
No biggie there. Your wall riding seems to be pretty solid.
Oh, I'd hope so. He's the one I've been playing all these years at least. Love me
Yep.
some Lucio. But I played mostly on controller PCs like the last 3 years. So I had to get
Yeah.
really good at him.
Mhm. All right, so getting picked first, obviously not ideal because
Hmm.
then you're down a support and your team's not gonna have healing and sustain. So obviously, for a lot of reasons, it's probably not great to die first. So we want to analyze it and think, well, why did we die? Well, firstly, noting that we're kind of like right here, we're kind of jumping in and getting right next to a Reaper, which maybe isn't like the bestest idea. That's probably a really big thing there.
Just good ball play too. Yeah, this guy.
Yeah, so just being careful about like jumping into a Reaper, I guess would probably be the primary thing here.
Yeah, he's around the corner. The sneaky bastard.
So then, therefore, being aware of your surroundings and trying to pay attention to where the enemy team is.
Mm. Yeah, I should have been able to hear him for sure.
Okay, so let's pay attention here. Moira gets low here. She fades away. We're like kind of lagging behind her team of hair. We come in, we start looking at the Moira. We like run off to the left for some reason, right? So we end up like kind of peeling off to the side, whereas maybe we could just be continuing to put some pressure on these guys like over here on the side, right?
Hmm.
I don't think that there's maybe a major necessity to be disengaging. You probably could be getting like up on top of the Moira with your diva and help melt her down to get a kill, but we kind of like end
Hmm.
up getting a little bit more passive. And then Moira gets away. Nice. Okay, so now at this point, I think we're 3v5. Getting Genji back soon.
Oh, didn't go for the heal pack.
Yeah. I think we were in some of these cases needing to find a way to get value sooner while not just while not dying, right? Like, so obviously that's going to be the name of the game, of improving and getting better in a lot of cases, is how do I get value like in the game. And obviously dying, it will be losing value because it's negatively affecting your teammates, as well as doing absolutely nothing. So when you're
Hmm.
running in and dying, you're obviously not able to do anything. So we want to find ways to cut down on that, because then that increases your value if you cut down on your deaths. But then, so we talked about things like that where it comes to like awareness and not jumping into the middle of their team. But then also you want to find ways to get value. So if we're just existing in a fight, then you're not going to have carry potential to be able to pull your team out of a fight, right? Like, so if you're just kind of sitting there and heal botting and just existing and maybe booping someone if they come close to you, well, then you're not really doing too much in particular. So yeah, you might exist, but you're not really helping carry the fight, right? Or carry the game. So we want to find this balance of doing things and getting value while also staying alive while doing it, so that you can get more value. So in this fight, it just seemed like we played pretty passive. We kind of like would shoot at some stuff and then like kind of back up and then shoot at some stuff and then back up. It felt like very pokey. Like you're just kind of like, you're just kind of like poke and then back and then poke and then back, rather than engaging when you saw opportunities. So I would encourage you to play opportunistically, like that Moira who just freshly used Fade and who's right next to your Diva, who doesn't have all of her teammates surrounding her, right? That might be a pretty good opportunity to go and jump on. And then now they're down to support, and then maybe you can pick the Kiriko next because you got the Moira, things like that, where you'll be able to get more value, and hopefully like pull around fights like that, which were like even-ish for half of it. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of the times I'm not even thinking. I'm just like, tunnel visioning and just, I don't know.
Yep, which is fair enough. That's part of like the improvement process, is trying to pull out of the tunnel vision. Um, that's so like how do you like put this stuff that we've been talking about into practice, the application process? A lot of the time. So for example, awareness, right? Like how do you pay attention better to your surroundings? Well, you're going to be getting better at it and improving, really the same way you work on anything, and that is that while you're playing, you want to make sure that you're not just autopiloting, just playing to play, but and contrary to popular belief, you're not just purely playing to win, but you're instead playing to improve. And what that will look like is you're going to be thinking to yourself, picking something out like awareness, and thinking while you're playing, awareness, awareness, awareness. Where's my team? Where's my team? Where's their team? Where's their team? And just thinking to yourself about your surroundings. And when you're constantly reminding yourself to look around and pay attention, well, you'll probably be paying attention a little bit more than if you were just tunnel visioning and autopiloting. And then as you do that long enough, then that forms it as a positive habit. Once it forms as a habit, then you can just move on to something else because it's just going to come naturally now, and you can move on to the next thing to work on, and that's your cycle of improvement. And then final thing here is just try not to do everything all at the same time because that gets overwhelming. Instead, focus on one category of things or 1 to 3 smaller things within a category. Does all that make sense? Any questions
It
on that?
does. No, you're doing great, dude.
All right. Cool. Nice boop. They get out anyways. Notice the amp heals here.
I think I thought it was on feed. I had to have thought it was on feed. No way.
Okay, so we beat. It looks like, and this is like an aggro beat because our team doesn't seem, nobody's critical as of the time we're beating, and they're not using any ultimates as of the time we're beating. So we seem to be using it as like an aggro beat.
Yeah, we weren't getting in. That's why I remember that one. So I was like, well, let's get in somehow. I don't know if that was good or not.
Which, in this situation, I don't know. I think that I would just try to pay attention to the flow of the fight because I don't know if this beat is necessarily needed here. Firstly, noting that the McCree is just like chilling for high noon for some reason, which isn't something that you can see here, but you can note the fact that you don't see a McCree in visibility, which just might mean that he's pulled further back. Your team is kind of pushing here. You just have a fresh EMP. You get a pick off of it. I don't know. It just might be a situation where you might be able to win this without beat. So it might at least just be cautious to see if you need it. Especially since beat is a lot of the times you can use it aggressively, but a lot of the times it's a more defensive ability, right? You can use it when you have a bunch of teammates who are low. You can use it in response to an ultimate or multiple ultimates. And therefore I might just save this and hold on to it because you might need it for when there are bigger ultimates coming out, because like you have other ultimates on your team that are more aggressive, like you just used your EMP, and you might be able to just win the fight off of those and not need the beat. So I'm not saying that this is like an absolutely horrible move, but it probably would be better to hold on to it for the in case you need it, like when they blossom in a second, maybe you need it.
It's actually what I consider my biggest weakness on Lucio is my timing on ult. I do it too late a lot, do it too early a lot, you know?
Yep. So here, I think you guys might have been able to win the fight even without it, especially because you were up. You got a pick and you had other ults going.
This one, yeah. Okay, my team was calling out that we were going for the one up top, right? And I was like, all right, let's go. And then no one went. I'm like, all right. I don't know, but like, I gotta be more aware, I guess.
Yep.
That one you need context because like we were in voice comms.
Yep. Because here, the thing is that your teammates who did go up there, Diva backed up, I guess, because she thought that I guess maybe thought he would be rolling the point or something like that. Here I think that probably just needs to be awareness, right? Because even if you're making the call out, right, things definitely change knowing the fact that there's 3 people here, rather than 1, or 5 people here rather than 1 person, right? Because you thought it was just McCree, right?
Yeah.
But then it ends up being their entire team, and then your team's not with you. So once again, we come back to awareness and paying attention to where is your team at, where is their team at, right? and keeping your ears and eyes open for this kind of stuff can help you from jumping into the middle of their entire team and then getting picked early. Because you get picked early, that puts your team at a disadvantage, and they're going to be more likely to lose that fight without you.
Yeah, that was a hell of a jump scare.
Swapping to heals when we're like full HP and still kind of moving around.
Man.
Nice.
Sometimes I think I amp up just in case I'm not noticing someone down, which is not good. Like,
yeah, it's better to be aware of your surroundings to know.
Yeah.
Oh, almost got.
Yeah.
Almost got caught, but you're good. Okay, so we're pushing. We end up missing some shots, it's fortunate because they're both low, but Genji gets them. Okay, so no, once again, not the worst ultimate in the world, but once again, maybe
early
could be
probably.
saved. Yeah, because they do have other people coming in, right? Like they're about to have 4 people, so I guess the thing to think about is that your ultimate wants to be used when you have a bunch of people looking at you and shooting at you. And we're using this in a time where one person is looking at you and shooting at you and your teammates, right? You want your ultimate gives you and your whole team around you over health, right? Shields, where you're all protected from damage, but if there is no damage coming, then your ultimate doesn't do anything.
Right.
So you need, when you're ulting, you need high amounts of damage to be coming in for it to be worth it. Here, you know, it's one single Kiriko, and you guys probably could tread her pretty easily or not die to her pretty easy without beat. Now you, of course, it's final fight, and you want to make sure you're actually using it and not holding on to it. It's definitely 100%. Don't get me wrong. It's better to use it than not to use it at all in this fight. But you probably could be paying attention and watching and waiting to see if you need it. And it probably would get more value when all 4 of them are pushing in versus just the one Kiriko, because then you and your team are actually in more danger, and it'll be much more worth it because your team will get value out of it. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. I sometimes just monkey brain is like, oh, aggressive ult, defensive ult, you know? I guess I've done it. It's maybe just trauma from doing it late so often.
Yeah.
Now I'm doing it early a lot, you know?
Yep, overcompensating.
I do, like, historically, I would beat a lot. Like, I don't think I do it anymore, but, you know, it's still, I gotta find that middle ground.
Yep. Nice, good kills. Okay, nice.
Okay.
Okay, so we're swooping in here. I think this is fine. We're just kind of poking. Be careful of shooting bubble, but it's it's not like you did too much of that.
dancing.
Yeah. If you notice that your team's struggling to make it out of choke, I mean,
I
like
do this.
this, you can do this, right? This is an idea.
Yeah.
You can also try to, which here. Note that I don't think your team's even ready to. I think just like glance back and check where your team's at real quick, because I don't think that
Right.
they're ready to even push past choke yet. So we're not really even creating enough space because they haven't even they're not even close enough to push out yet. So this is an idea to help get them out of choke. You can also like count down an amp speed out as well as another idea. You and Moira.
The orb, dude.
Yeah, the other thing was that you amp speed to get over here when you maybe didn't need to do
Yeah, it's a
that.
waste for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because now you don't have that in your duel with Moira. You
Yeah, that
definitely.
would have saved me. That would have saved me.
Yeah.
Actually, you're right. Totally right.
Nice. Nice, nice. You might also want to be careful about using those amps like in between fights and things like that. So especially like in a situation like this where you can see that McCree gets like basically successfully gets around the corner, right? And when he
Yeah.
successfully gets around that corner, he's now safe, and you could just heal him up like normally, and then that means that you now have the amp for the fight rather than using it before the fight, where now it's going to be on a 12-second cooldown and you won't have it for the start of this fight. So just being careful in situations like that, to maybe try, and it's not a never ever do it, but be very careful to when you're using your beat in between, or sorry, your amp in between fights, because then you won't have it for the start of the fight.
I guess my logic there is like I assume like getting him back in the fight might be important too. I don't know,
Yeah.
like.
And it's 100%. If it meant saving him, then do it. Right, 100%.
Right.
It's just being careful to be aware of like, does he need saving? And in that situation, it was close, but I think he could have gone without it.
Yeah, on the corner, of course. Yeah.
Okay, good beat. We're amping heals when we're in beat. Before I think even before you turn the corner here, you're amping heals. Right, like we're amping heals like right here.
Yeah.
Like maybe like right as you see him, but he's like around that corner, so he's not getting that.
Yeah.
No, at that point, I think fight was gone, but they
Right.
just came in and used a bunch of ults.
Yeah, I don't think there's much from here. I think here you just get rolled.
I don't know, what is he still in there from last fight?
No.
He just ran back in.
I think so. Yeah. Here, just trying to, I don't know, do something here, but nope.
Yeah.
I thought I touched there. I didn't. Okay.
All right. Sounds good. Why don't we get another replay up?
Sure. No. Oh yeah. Oh, I was just thinking. I don't know. I got some great Lucio types there, but I don't know if I want you to see more Lucio or like do a Kiriko game. 'Cause I'm trying to get good at Kiriko.
Yeah, whatever works. I mean, we
Okay.
can do Kiri now, or we can keep going on Lucio, and because I think you said over on Fiverr, you're interested in doing more sessions. So Kiro could always be something we cover in another session as well.
Okay. So yeah, let's do another Lucio game then. Here, another loss. I think this is the one I'm thinking of. It should be in Rialto. Oh man, I saved a couple just in case. I played a lot today. Took a lot of L's.
All right. So let's take a look.
Oh, it's Piranha. Okay, this is fine too. This works.
Cool. I think this one. Let's take a look at some of the bookmarks for our deaths and ultimates. Those might be something to take a look at. Okay. Have you seen this new feature? I think this is
I
pretty
have
cool.
not.
So they
Yeah.
added bookmarks in, so we can track every single time you die. We can go and visit each one through the bookmarks bar, or the bookmarks bar, and then every time you ult, that's another thing we can check. So I think that's gonna be cool. So deaths, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 deaths this whole game, which isn't that horrible of a pacing. Like that's probably a pretty decent amount of deaths. Obviously, like the less you have, the better. But it's not. This isn't like 1 a minute, so it's not absolutely horrible. But maybe there's like easily preventable deaths in here that if we cut back on those, that's something we can fix potentially. So let's go back, let's cut to it and then go back like 10 seconds or 15 seconds. So we're in a fight. We're coming in. Let's hide that for a second. Okay, at this point, fight's over already, so we won't worry about this one. Let's cut to our next death. We amp speed in. We go and try to touch. We jump into the middle of a Junker Queen and then we die.
Yeah.
Right. So, easily preventable because what could we have done differently there?
Except the loss of the point, I guess. I was trying to like stall it, but I realized, oh wait, it's already there.
Yep. And just in general, like what? Let's talk about that for a second, right? There are a lot of when it comes to deaths and dying, right? And then this is like generally how you watch for mistakes in general. Deaths are a very easy mistake to watch for, but when you're self-improving and you're getting better and you're trying to identify where you can improve at, you firstly want to watch for mistakes, right? Mistakes obviously would be something like deaths, but I can't just say don't die less,
Right.
because that's not very helpful. You want to think about why you're dying. So that's the issue within the mistake. What are some common reasons why people die in Overwatch?
Just going in alone.
Yep.
Just being too close to the wrong heroes.
Overextension, poor positioning, right? Like so, like you said, like maybe standing too close to a close range character, or being out in the open and not using cover. Anything else?
That's all of them. No, I don't know. What else would you say? I guess mistiming, like mistiming plays.
So like going in at the wrong time, maybe you could still
Yeah.
classify that. You can say that's like a bit of aggression, but you can also like put that in with overextension.
Right.
But other ones, like one that you've been struggling with, has
Just,
been awareness, right?
Right.
Like not noticing that their whole team's on you, or like
Yes.
someone sneaks up behind you, and you don't notice them. Or another other ones could be like poor movement, right? Like if you're standing still, walking in a straight line, or if Lucio, you just like mess up your wall ride or something, right? Or misuse of abilities, right? Like if you don't amp, or you do amp but at the wrong time, or things like that, right? You could those are most of them, messing up mechanics, things like that, right? So here, what are some of the things that caused you to die?
I mean, I jumped into the enemy team. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just not good. I had no cover. I had no teammates with me. It was just me first, which is terrible.
So, maybe a bit of overextension. Like, I don't think this is like too terrible if you're just like a little bit further back. I think it's just like overextension and just jumping in on top of the Junker Queen, right?
Yeah, I was trying to contest because I didn't want to get that respawn, but it was a bad idea. Yeah.
Yep. Always prioritize winning the fight.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Let's look at the next one. Oh, it pauses it. Interesting. Cool. So they're pushing out. Oh, Jungle Queen again, right? So death, same kind of deal. Getting too close to Junker Queen, letting her run on you when you have the ability just to back up, get away from her, wall ride away from her, things like that, right? They can get you
Right.
away, but we're letting her close the gap on you. So 4, let's take a look.
Yeah, I think she was the main reason I did the game. So.
Okay, so we get Junker Queen ulted, which how did I lose your perspective? Oh, I'm losing track of where the buttons are. F5. So going in here, we have beat. Because beat lasts so shortly, it might even be worth focusing on the speed to get him in there sooner, but it's not that big of a deal. We kill the Moira, that's good. We're running away from the Junker Queen. Tracer starts shooting at you. Maybe could be trying to use cover here as an idea, but we're also down. This is like a 3v4, 3v3. We also, when we were beating here, this is another ultimate to look at. Let's look at this timing with our beat. We tried to beat, but for the Genji, but he just gets shredded. Yeah. Maybe not the most fantastic of beats, because maybe we could have had it after we got Junker Queen ulted. Because we end up using it after Genji gets shredded.
And in fact, I remember they were hesitating, as in like, wait, he's starting to go low. Can he survive this? Should I beat? And then I wait and I beat, and it's too late. It's like,
Yeah.
Should I think about it or not?
That's why a lot of the times, like, you just gotta be careful, because you're usually not gonna want to try to use a beat to save one squishy from like normally dying if they're just gonna get shredded, right? Like if your Genji's just gonna get shredded, you're not gonna have the reaction time to be able to get to that right in time, and save him. But you could have the reaction time to beat after Junker Queen ults, right? Or you could have the reaction time to beat after somebody like, after the soldier's visoring, right? Or if you have multiple teammates who see are critical, things like that, like, and just being aware of what's happening, because you're not always going to be able to save that one person who's just getting shredded by the enemy team, right? So just being aware of that. Not. Alright. Jungle Queen ults again. We are trying to run away from Jungle Queen, or get away from damage, and we just run straight into Jungle Queen.
I mean, it's like rock a hard place, no? I don't know.
Yeah, so, right here, very wide, no cover. So like we're wide out in the open, no cover at all to use. So when we're getting damaged, compare this to like where your soldier and Moira are, right, where they can just back up. So we can, if we're positioning more like over here, we can just skip backwards and get away this way. But we're trying to run away this way, which Junker Queen's on top of. So we're just once again stepping inside of the Junker Queen, getting carnaged, and then dying as a result.
Right.
So wrapping inside more rather than wide outside is going to do a lot for you.
This one wasn't too much of a close game, but oh, this death. Oh man.
So just being careful, like if we're gonna go up there, we're not overstaying your welcome. So like if you're like, firstly, if you're popping up there, maybe do it for like half a second. But then
I wanted to peek. Yeah.
yeah, but then also like you have to think about like, well, what's the worth in peaking when all 5 of them can look at you and shoot at you, right? All of them are going to be able to instantly react to you and start shooting at you. But maybe if you engage after the fight's begun, then they have less people that will be paying attention and less abilities to throw at you, right?
Right.
They might not have every single thing to throw at you, and they won't all be able to pay attention to you if the fight's more on its way. Okay, once here doing beat from like really up high. So we're amp heals.
Yeah, really high.
We do beat, and then they immediately after beat, they just come in with the ult. I might encourage you to hold on to your beats more as a counter ult. Ult like to use as a counter to their ultimates. Obviously here you didn't want to lose your Sigma, but he could have survived that without your beat. Potentially here, right? Because he's half HP being pocketed by you and the Moira. You can boop the Carnaging Junker Queen away. That's actually, in fact, a really good, handy thing I would recommend is every single time Junker Queen comes into Carnage, just boop her away, and she misses out on a lot of value. But if Sigma survives that, then you have a beat for when they use their Junker Queen ult immediately afterwards. If you don't use it here, because now your whole team's purple. You boop the 1 HP Lucio away from yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I do it for the extra damage, but it's never enough.
Yeah, so usually, which is good. Usually, you want to it's good thing to use it for extra damage. If you're using it for extra damage, you want to be carrying your momentum in with them, because then you keep up with them. So you don't want to boop them while you're backing up. You want to boop
Right.
them while you're running into them, and then that does extra damage. And you stay with them, or you can boop them into a corner as well, or use it as the finisher, things like that.
Yeah, I should have meleeed there probably.
Let's take a look at ultimates real quick. So first ult comes through. That one we use as counter to both those. That was good timing. I like that because we countered both. We're amp healing again while we're ulting. We also ult and we don't really have a target in mind. We like boop these guys and then we're like amp healing and kind of didn't have anything that we were focusing down. We're focused on the Junker Queen. Might recommend target. We don't have a ton of time to go in depth on this. But like target priority, don't shoot at the hardest character to kill. Shoot at the easier
Right.
characters to kill. So
Yeah.
shoot at the Moira sooner. Nice. Okay, next ult. This one. We just try to beat the solo Genji, and it doesn't work. Okay, there we beat because we're low. We see somebody else who's low. Let's see the state of the fight. It's 4v1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're down 1 player when we beat.
This is the Moira too. Wow.
Nope, you get the Moira.
Oh, okay.
There you go. It's just like a little bit delayed, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's pretty solid. We just, once again, the problem is that we're like, I don't know if we're able to do enough with it. No, okay, that
Why
works.
am I not boosting there? Okay, alright.
That works. That's a good one. I like that ult. Okay, so Lucio boops us up in the air there. We're ulting. So they beat. Once again,
beat the contest.
yeah. Once again, you like maybe come into question like if it's immediately needed. I mean, I think you're trying to save your Sigma from dying, so I think it's fine because he got 1 HP there. So yeah, I think that's a good ult because you got really low too. I think that was a good ult. Okay. Let's get out of here. Let's do wrap up review and main points of the session.
Nope.
All right. So, ability usage. Crossfade, pretty good. Once in a while, there'll be situations where you're just like, sitting on healing for some reason, where you're like trying to move somewhere. Right? Obviously, I think you have a pretty good sense of it. So, like the basic is just use speed whenever you're moving anywhere, and or your teammates are moving anywhere, and you're using healing anytime you or your teammates need healing, or you're just sitting in place. Right? Those are like your two options, and it's pretty simple. Sometimes it's a little bit off, so just keep your eye on it. Amping was probably the one that needed a little bit more attention, where sometimes you're just like amp healing when nobody around you needs it, right? That was probably the most common one, was just the random amp heals.
Right.
And then boop, pretty good. Just make sure, like we were saying, like if you're gonna boop, make sure you have like a wall or a corner to boop them into, because you can combo it in with your damage, or you're keeping up your momentum on them, so you can kind of swoop into them, things like that. Overall, abilities is like a maybe like a lower end of a medium priority for you to work on. Next comes ult usage. Um, ult usage. It wasn't, once again, it was just like some inconsistencies here and there. It wasn't like horrible all the time. Just maybe you look to use it as like an ult counter in a lot of situations. I think we just like end up some of the time we were ulting too early, like when it wasn't needed, like when against that like Kiriko, when like nobody's looking at your team, nobody's shooting at you guys, so don't use it when it's not needed. Your Lucio ult in a lot of cases is like a responsive defensive ultimate, right? So you're not using it. You can use it to initiate, but really I'd say those are like more niche situations that you're using it for that. And yeah, kind of that kind of depends. So I would just be careful about using it for that frequently. Look to use it when you and your team need it. Lots of people need it, or you're stopping an ult, things like that. Your best ones were when you were countering an ult or two, or when you had multiple teammates that were low HP. Next, and overall that one was like it's probably same place, like lower end of a medium. Next comes your mechanics. Watch, focusing on the tank and shooting at them too much. I don't think we talked too much else on mechanics. I don't think mechanics was really too much of a focus. Sometimes you're aiming a little bit low, so watch and just like make sure you're aiming for headshots. So like aim up at head level.
Huge leak of mine. Yeah.
Yeah. So just aiming for the headshots. Overall, though, that's like a low to medium priority. And then next comes your positioning. Make sure that you're using cover. Honestly, we probably could have gone more in depth on that. We didn't really, but don't be out in the open. Go and be closer to corners and things that you can use, because then you can just line of sight enemies when you're taking damage. I think you had some. That was one of the things that was easily preventable. Be careful about like leaping straight into the middle of their whole team, and getting over aggressive, and just be careful about being out in the open like that as
Or
well.
just being up in the air, like thinking I'm safe.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So be with your team. Don't isolate yourself from your team too much. I mean, obviously you can go off and be on your own because you're Lucio, but if you're in the middle of a fight, don't like just go sprinting in by yourself. Overall positioning, that's like a medium priority. And then finally awareness. Pay attention to where your teammates are, who needs healing, pay attention to their health bars, pay attention to where the enemy team is, so that they're not just like jumping all on top of you. Pay attention to the ults and what's happening there. I think overall awareness probably seems to be the biggest one, where if we're paying attention to where your team is, where their team is, and what's happening around you, you'll be able to make more effective decisions, right? You'll be able to amp better. You'll be able to know when to beat better. You'll be able to not randomly die because you're not paying attention. It'll show you when opportunities are happening. That was the other thing in mechanics that came up, was playing opportunistically, right? So just being aware of those different things. Overall, that one was probably like the higher end of a medium. That one was the bigger one. Any final questions on anything?
And I guess no question, dude. I appreciate all the advice.
Cool. All right.
I think I'm gonna probably book